Hello everybody, welcome to another Anus production, and today we are here, gathered in front of your screens, and I'm going to tell you about another book. Yes, indeed, it has been a very long time since I did one of these book reviews, but fear not, Anus Productions has not gone yet. Of course, a lot of attention has been put towards my second channel, but that is irrelevant. What matters now is this book review. So, I am going to present to you a piece that, for me, was actually pretty enjoyable. It is called Poor Man's Travel by Patty Jansen. Overall, it is a really enjoyable short story, only 55 pages long. As it's my introduction to this universe, I can honestly say it's really well written. It presents a tasty bite of a bigger story that I have yet to immerse myself into. But what actually makes this story so good? Let's explore the good and the bad. For the positives of this story, it has an easy to understand story arc. Being short, it doesn't go into unnecessary specifics, and it is really digestible and understandable. So it makes it easy to follow, and overall it's quite entertaining to read. So I did enjoy that. Of course, that is what a short story is meant to be. But the point is, the author of this piece did not clutter up the story itself with little bits of detail that really weren't necessary. So good on you for that. The story also conveys believable characters. Now, we do have, really, the book only focuses on one character, perhaps two, really main important characters. And that would be the main protagonist and someone else who the main protagonist is mind swapping with. Now, yes, as I've said right at the start of this video, this contains a little bit of spoilers. I was considering whether to put them in, but I'll just put them in anyway because it's quite hard to describe the book at the moment without putting some kind of teensy-weeny spoilers in. So, basically, the main protagonist wants a better life, and so he mind swaps with a scientist who's researching about space surfing, and that is very interesting. But beforehand, the main character, who was out mining ore, he had a very, not even a mediocre life. It was a very undesirable position, but at least his position was very grounded. It was not biased. It was it was just understandable. It wasn't overcomplicated or anything. So at least that part of the story, it was actually well presented, and I appreciate that. However, what's actually more fascinating about this book is this point that I'm going to mention is that it has a fascinating world. Now, when I was reading through this book, at many points I stopped to read the same line over and over again because, personally, I don't take well to some of the technology aspects that this book has. Not saying it's a bad thing, it's just a quirk with me. And it's just based around you and you not having your real body, and therefore you can easily have some kind of identity crisis and things like that. But it does delve into the technology and the kind of social status, and not so much politics, but it does actually, and it's pretty much transformative. And that's the best word I can use to describe this world. And honestly, I embraced it and I love it. I really, really enjoyed reading about this world and how it interacts with the main character. I was fascinated. I must say, I'm very interested in the world building. That was, for me, one of the main strengths of this book. It was just so fascinating, honestly. For the last good point, it has a nice level of informal speech without making the story or characters a bit ridiculous looking. So, Sometimes, depending on what you want to do with your novel, you may want to go for formal speech, depending on the character, or depending on the tone, or whatever. But the author of this story decided to make the character, or the main character of this book, the focus, making him a bit informal. And that is fine. I mean, it also conveys a bit of validation that because his position, it's not at all what he wants. He doesn't have to sell himself as this amazing person that speaks well, presents himself well. He doesn't need to do that. So therefore, it does add to the second point, because it makes the characters in that horrible situation more believable, and it does otherwise go into other bits as well. But I do like the way that the characters talk. To be honest, it was the right way to do it. I don't think that there will be any kind of misunderstandings or whatever. But I just generally appreciate that little detail there. Now, the only as far as me reading it, the only point that I have to pick about, apart from the personal thing that I mentioned earlier, is that there was one spelling mistake in the actual story, not the. If you want to count it as the entire piece, then it would be on page 49. I don't know whether to say if it was page 49 or 45, but in this story there is only one spelling mistake, and that is on the just under the last quarter of the story. I did notice that, but honestly, proofread, and it was quite good. That was the only spelling mistake. No grammatical errors, no other spelling mistakes, no words that were used in the incorrect place. There was only that one spelling mistake, which I am quite impressed by. So, the author has actually proofread the piece very well. And apart from that, there are no other bad things I can talk about. I'm not going to overly criticize this because it's not. They've not got any holes. There are no loopholes in the story as far as I've seen. It all ties itself together. And as I said at the start, it's a very nice bite-sized introduction to the universe. It serves as its own story, but because it's an addition to a bigger universe, I understood what the book was about, what the universe was about, without having to worry about reading the mainline titles later on. So I do think that this book is a really good read for you, especially if you aren't into long novels or whatever. A short story, especially, pardon me, on the go, like going to work or something. I mean, or maybe when you're having your coffee break, you can just pick this book up, and it's really, really enjoyable. I have thoroughly enjoyed this little piece. It did take me 10 minutes to read, and it was definitely 10 minutes well used, to be honest. Well used. That's not the best way I can say it, but you know what I mean. It was not a waste. It was definitely not a waste of 10 minutes. So I do recommend this book. As far as I know, I would say it could be better, but those are only personal views. There are no technical inaccuracies apart from that one spelling mistake. There is nothing else that's really wrong with it. So I would give it a 4 out of 5, honestly, and I would definitely recommend this book for people who aren't into big books, or who are reading big books but just want to read something that is short and concise. Definitely something to pick up. And as of the recording of this video, the book is now free on Amazon. Well, actually, it was not on Amazon. It might have been on Amazon. I don't quite know, so don't go and look on Amazon. I don't quite know, but I know I got this book for free. I don't know if it's going to be priced, whatever, but I'll have a link in the description for you to download so you can read this for yourself. Very good book. Did enjoy it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. And as you can tell, this review is alright, and I'm a bit all over the place at the moment, but hopefully you have enjoyed this little video. If you have any book suggestions for me to read or something like that, put them down in the comments below, and I will take a look at them and put my views forward. But for now, this has been Anus Productions. Hopefully you have enjoyed this book review, and I will see you, hopefully, in the next one.